Hi everyone, welcome back for another whiskey review. Now today is the 5th of January 2025, and the new year energy is just oozing out of me. And I promised myself I'm going to do more reviews in 2025. So today I put my fun golf shirt on and brought home 6 bottles of Nikka whiskey from Japan. And I'm going to sit here tonight and record 6 reviews back to back. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So out of the Nikka range, I have picked this one to be the first one I'm going to review, which is also the lowest price one in New Zealand. Now, for the purpose of this videos, I'm not going to go into a full deep down the whole history of Nikka whiskey. I think I could probably record another day a whiskey review or like a detailed history of Nikka whiskey, but we'll just keep it to what I'm finding in these bottles. But just the one thing I want to touch on, because these are going to end up 6 reviews back to back and they're going to work together. I recommend you obviously to start on this and then go to, well, whatever I choose out of the range. In New Zealand in particular, we don't really get a lot of Japanese whiskey. It's a long known fact, and when we do, they are ridiculously overpriced, which from what I've read online, is the same as all around the world because they're in high demand. But there's a lot of confusion out there as well. What truly is a Japanese whiskey? So while I was doing some research on the Nikka's own website around, all the different whiskeys, for some reason, it says on the Nikka website that this particular release from them does not meet the new or the recently announced Japanese whiskey rules. I have no idea what that means. I tried to read. It made no sense to me. Was it a labeling issue? Was it a content issue? But in my thoughts, from what I've known, this is Japanese whiskey, and that's how I'm going to look at it. And that's how I'm going to look at all of the range. But I'll call out what I see on the website as each of the reviews goes. Now, out of the 6 whiskeys, I'm going to actually try tonight. This one in particular is the one I've opened the most. I think over my lifetime, I've probably opened 4 or 5 of them, very specifically for when I've had visitors over. I need to open 4 or 5 different whiskeys and want to pick something entry level, which quite often would be, say, if you were to say Irish whiskey, I would open a Jameson Black Barrel, or from Scotland, I would open a Johnny Walker Black Label or Double Black, or if it was an American whiskey, I might open a Buffalo Trace. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say where I classify this particular whiskey. In New Zealand, it retails for around $80, $85, which is very similar or just above the other ones. But the most important things to understand from New Zealand perspective, it might be true for the market you're in, is these are actually available all of the time and at a good price. And that's very important to understand, because as a whiskey drinker and a retailer, number one thing that is we get out of the whole Japanese whiskey industry is a bit of disappointment, because something good comes along, wins a few awards, and whoosh, disappears from our shelves. And it comes back and another $100 been added to the retail price. But somehow Nikka has found a way to keep the supply up, make some good whiskeys available for us to enjoy. All right, let's get this whiskey into the glass and start talking about this one. Now, this is a blended whiskey. So they have used both grain whiskey and malt whiskey, which some of it is peated. How interesting. So Nikka has 2 distilleries, Yoichi and, I'm going to butcher this, Miyagikyo. All right, we'll tackle this problem when I get to the single malt from it. So a delicate grain whiskey with a bit of malt in it, but peated, which is what makes it interesting. And I did mention Jameson Black Barrel before, which is an entry-level $70, $75 Irish whiskey. That's where I kind of classify this. It's not similar to your barely 3-year-old entry-level blend from Scotland that you get. I'm not going to say any names because it might offend someone. It could be your favorite Scotch whiskey. But I don't find them very, very interesting, very dull. Whereas this one, I guess because it has a bit of a malt content, but also that specially peated content, the flavors and smells carry, well, reasonably well. And I also find myself making highballs out of this particular whiskey, again, for my visitors, not for me. I'm not personally a big fan of highball, unless it's been a particularly hot day, but serves a good purpose. Lots of flavor, lots of smell. Just so delicate, so sweet on the nose. The honeyed sweetness is there. Always when I do a review, people start messaging me. All of a sudden, I think, not that I do a lot of reviews, but all of a sudden, handful of times, yeah, I'll do a review. Suddenly, my phone starts popping off. That's right, that can go away. Well, the honey sweetness is there. There's light sort of pears character on the nose, kind of similar to a Klein Niche. I know that's a single malt, but that's the kind of light, fruity, oily character I get on the nose. Really nice. Really nice. I mean, currently 5th of January, we are at the peak of New Zealand summer. It's been a beautiful, clear day outside, minus the rain in the morning, which we get. We get all the seasons in a day. But it's been just a lovely, lovely summer's day. And right now, the beautiful, sweet nose is just very rewarding. Really, really rewarding. All right, let's give it a try. Again, the sweetness is there, and the very gentle peachy note is there on the palate. You do detect a little bit of smoke, but it's not overpowering in any way. Very light, very subtle, but overall, very, very sweet, very reasonably rich. You know, I don't want to make a guess how all these whiskies are aged for. Maybe if you know, leave it in the comments. Maybe you work for Nikka Whisky. Put in the comments roughly what's the composition. But you can detect and appreciate the malt content, especially the smoky character. And I think that's why I've enjoyed opening and serving it to my guests, because I don't want to give them something really entry level, a blend from Scotland or a really entry level Indian whiskey. I want to give them something a bit more, with a bit more flavor, but I don't feel like taking them down the route of my $200, $300, $400 single cask whiskies. So really, really nice. And at around $80, $85, it leaves you feeling quite rewarded. You know, you've tried a good, honest, well-made, well-constructed Japanese whiskey without breaking the bank. Really, really good. And I'm going to continue opening a lot more bottles of this for my own consumption, but also for my guests, because I want to give them an introduction into Japanese whiskey. This is where it starts. This is the, you could say, the stepping stone at around that 80 New Zealand dollars, which is roughly 35 pounds, I think, 38 pounds, yeah. So that's all I had to say about this particular whiskey. I hope you will pick up a bottle and give it a try. Don't be shy. It is actually reasonably priced enough to try it once. You never know. It might become your daily dram before you try your more expensive Nikkas or other single cask whiskeys. It could become a really solid rotation whiskey. However, people word it differently. I call them daily drams, you know, stuff you have before you have some of the good stuff. But really, really good. Very nice whiskey for the money. Well, I hope you will like, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you when, well, the next video goes up. It'll be another Nikka Whisky, obviously. Well, thank you for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.